Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Trying Not to Die. This is a very special episode. We are joined by my brother, Louis Osbourne. He rarely does interviews and rarely speaks about our dad, and so I thought, why not come, have a bit of a chit-chat, learn about Louis, learn about the things he's been up to as of late, and learn about how he tries not to die. So at that, here we go. I'm very excited to have a very special guest with us on the Try Not to Die podcast. It's none other than my brother from another mother.
That's me.
Louis Osbourne.
That is true, a brother from another mother.
Yeah.
It's your butter.
Yeah.
How you doing, Louis?
From another mother.
How you doing, Louis?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I kind of figured, look, Louis, you're in town, and I thought, you know what? Let's have Louis on the podcast and
Yep.
chin wag it up and, talk about the highs, talk about the lows.
There's been a lot of both.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of both.
So this is Ryan, who you've met.
We've talked outside.
You guys, did
We've
you talk at the party?
We've already discussed what Panda Express can do to the innards of a man.
Yeah. And
well,
some of this, he has a sweet tooth too.
Yep.
And he likes a little Mexican, so he's been on an eating fest. Him and I share a love of eating. Mm-hmm. So, we like to gluttonize our guts.
I have every time I come to LA, I have a hit list of filth that I have to hit. And I tick them off one by one. I did in and out off the plane straight away.
That's the one on Sepulveda, right when you come out of the
literally,
airport.
Yeah, literally hit that straight
What'd you
away.
eat? Let me. But please tell me what you ate when you were there.
Why don't you guess?
Double,
Yeah.
fries and a milkshake.
No, double fries and a Coke, but you weren't far off.
You want to get the milkshake? You didn't have a sweet tooth?
No, I wouldn't do the milkshake.
The
with
dairy
that.
will kill you.
Have you discovered the secret menu?
What's that?
Oh, there's an In-N-Out secret menu where there's like 20 or 30 other items you can
And
order.
where do you get that from?
You go online. You can order like a triple. You can order a 4x4.
Triple. That's a lot of
You
meat
can-
in the Gulliver.
4x4.
Yeah, that's a pound of meat.
Is that like a triple sounds like a triple heart bypass.
That's basically what you're
Without the
ordering.
parasites.
Yeah, my go-to
Yeah.
is a double animal style, no tomato.
Well, you don't
I
like the
don't do
bun?
tomato either.
No, animal style. It
has a bun?
Yeah, it has a bun. It's
Why
just
they
got
call it animal style?
it's got like extra secret sauce. It's got grilled onions. They just make it worse for you.
Do you have bad breath after those onions, or they're not that type of
No,
onions?
it's not too bad. They're not that bad.
Well, no one will go near him, so they wouldn't know anyway.
How about fries? Do you like a dipping of fries or no?
You know what my kids do?
Let me
They
hear.
dip the fries in the milkshake.
Ooh.
Why is that? That's interesting. I don't like that. I
I don't think
separated
that's,
it.
like,
I gotta
weird.
separate it. That's my dessert after.
It's a thing.
I mean, as British people, though, like we kind of turn our noses up at like when American people have like the sausage meat and the pancakes and syrup.
Yeah, I'm not into
We
that.
don't do the sweet and the savoury together.
I would never do that. I agree. 1,000. Listen, I'll have some eggs over easy, some sausages. I like that.
Yeah.
I don't like a pancake. It doesn't
No,
go
the
well with me.
syrup and the
Maybe a little
meat.
whipped cream, a dollop of whipped
I
cream.
love a pancake with some eggs and bacon. I do.
Well, you must like Denny's.
Is
You're
this,
my grand
it-
slammer.
this is called trying not to die.
Exactly, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to go against our default settings. That's what my default
Yes.
settings want to do.
What does it want to do? Tell
totally.
me.
My default setting wants to eat shit, drink, gluttonize, just be the worst human imaginable. That's what my default setting wants to do.
And that's me too.
Yeah.
I
I
love
want to
eating.
sleep all day, stay up all night.
Sleep all day? It doesn't seem like you would still get up.
No, dude. When I
I
would
remember. I remember.
I would sleep until like 1.
I always say all the fun, all the things that are the most fun are bad for you.
Yeah. And so the name of the game for this is like we want to know what everyone does to go against those default settings. What do you do, Lou?
What, to go against my default settings?
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear this one.
Exercise.
What type of exercise, Lewis?
Well,
Lewis has some secrets up his sleeve.
listen, I'm listening. What
You're
does
going to
this
be
say?
surprised when you hear this.
Lewis, what do you do?
I do triathlons, but I haven't done one for a while. As you can
Holy
probably.
cow!
No, I did 2 Ironmans in
Where?
Barcelona and Roth in Germany.
Jesus, I never would have known that.
Well, you wouldn't at the moment because I'm
no,
literally-
I was being honest. I didn't. Yeah,
I'm
I
about
didn't know.
25 kilos above my race weight at the moment.
He was running.
What is he, 30
cycling.
stone?
But the thing is, though, when you
Don't take that from him,
I
Lou.
did these in my 40s. I did these in my 40s, and it doesn't matter if you're in your 20s and you do cardio all day long. you lose weight, but in your 40s you can do all the cardio you want in the world, but it's what you put in your mouth.
The only thing that works is someone busting your chin up and your jaw's wired shut.
I'll take a boxing then.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Or you have to have someone with you.
It is
to tell
so
you, don't eat that.
It is so funny how so I first started getting into shape in my late teens. So I was 19 when I lost a bunch of weight and I was doing adrenaline junkie and I doing the kickboxing and climbing and all that.
You know the words, you needed a girlfriend.
Yes, exactly. Needed a girlfriend. I needed self-esteem. But it was so easy to lose the weight once I started just running and just, watching what I ate. But once in the 30s, and then even now approaching, it's hard to change body.
Mate, I turned 50 this year. It doesn't budge now. It doesn't budge now unless you become like a monk for at least a month.
And that's what I do. I need to play the steam because I'm going to be 55. And Jack knows for me to be thin, I will eat. I have to control my eating, especially at night.
Right. No. Well, yeah. They say it's not what you eat, it's when you eat, or a mixture of both. But I mean, so what do I do? I try and eat well most of the time, but I'm just a sucker for that pleasure reward.
You love a beer and a kebab.
Yeah, I mean, so basically what I used to do, when I was, or a curry. So what I used to do was I used to go out and do when I was training for my Ironmans, I used to go and do a 6-hour ride on a Saturday, then get off the bike and do a one. They call it a brick run when you do a run off the bike, and I'd go and do a 1-hour brick run. And I'm like, well, fuck it, I've done 7 hours training, so I'm going to go and have a curry and 6 pints.
What about the swim? The swim scares me. You like swimming?
That's my favorite bit, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't like swimming.
No, well, actually, being a big boned guy or a big guy with quite, I think I'm 230 pounds at the moment. Being a big guy, gravity doesn't have you as badly in the water.
Okay, you like bobbing?
Well, yeah, I'm a bobber.
You're a bobber.
I'm a floater.
You're a floater. I know about that.
So the swimming's actually the easier part for me. But yeah, it was just a whole way of life that I got sucked into, and it wasn't more a case of I set out to go and do them. It's just that what happened was I had a shitty old mountain bike for years, what I would call a pub bike. In other words, you could take it to the pub and it was so shit no one would nick it. And then I got myself a nice road bike and I was enjoying that. And I was swimming in the pool one day at the gym and I thought, I'll do a triathlon. Couldn't run to save my life. And I told my wife and she laughed at me. And I told my colleagues, they laughed at me. I told my friends that I laughed at me. And the more people laughed at me, the more I thought, you know what?
I'm going to show them.
Fuck you, I'm going to go and have a go. Yeah.
I'm going to show you.
So I did a little sprint triathlon and then did that badly. And then I thought I got the bug, and then I did another one. And the following year, I upped the distance. And then the following year, I did a half Ironman. And then me and my mates just thought, well, we've come this far. Should we just go for it and see what we can do?
Jesus.
And you just kind of ended up there, really.
I give everyone credit. Yeah, I could never do one of those. I give someone, I could do a lot, but I could never imagine doing that because that's really tough.
I just get in my head. Whenever I have to do I did a lot of long distance running and stuff like that. I would get all negative. I'd be like, this sucks. Why the fuck am I doing this? Why am I doing this? This is the dumbest thing ever.
I agree with you.
I should go home and get into bed.
Yeah. Then I'm on the bike. I'm like, dude, I did enough on the bike. I'm getting out of here. Yeah. It's enough.
You do find that, but that's half the battle. It's like, you find the dark side. I call it the dark side, and you hate it. You question why you're doing it. You look at all these other dudes going past and on their 10-gram bikes and their aero helmets and shit, and thinking, why are you fucking doing it? And you hate it all, and you hate the doing. And you get off the bike, you can't walk, and your pelvis hurts, your legs hurt.
How chafed are your nipples?
What'd you say?
How chafed are your nipples?
Yeah, everything hurts, and you got to go. Then you got to go and run a marathon.
Up like elephantitis.
And you're hating it all. You're hating it all, and then you get over the half point of the run. You actually think, holy fuck, you're about 12 hours into it by this point. You think, holy fuck, I'm actually going to finish this. And then I'm getting goosebumps now. And then the endorphins and the adrenaline kick in when you think, oh my God, I'm actually going to do this. And then it's kind of ether and adrenaline that gets you home in the end.
What's a good time for a night? Like, what was your time?
Basically, my times aren't particularly good because I'm not a long course beast. I'm a big bloke. I aimed at doing it in sub 14 and I got 13:53.
Fuck yeah.
So I was happy with that.
That's amazing.
Because I work from home and I sit at my desk most of the day, I have to get out to exercise. I don't really like working out at the gym. I need to get out in the fresh air, whether it's on my bike or for a run, or I love open water swimming or cold water swimming.
Oh, you don't mind the cold water, do
I
you?
love cold water.
We were talking about our love for ice baths last night.
Yeah,
Let's
love
hear
it.
Like
I've become kind of addicted to it.
you don't mind jumping in 30-degree like lake or something like that.
No.
I'd love to, but not for long.
Yeah.
In and out.
I like it too. I like jumping in and out. If there's a competition, like my partner, we're not married, we've been together 12 years, but she was starting to do the ice bath, and she's like, "How long can you stay in?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. I can stay in there for a long time." She goes, "Oh, I want to see," because we live at this building, and she likes seeing these grown men crying when they're in there. She loves that because she's like, she grew up in Montreal, and she's a bit, played sports. So I'm like, I'll show you. So the first time I get in there, I stay there for 7 minutes.
That's too much.
No, but I had to show her, and then I had influenza B the next day.
Oh, well, there you
sick.
go.
I was sick, but that's my brain.
3 minutes max.
Well, of course, but I wanted to. You know what I'm trying to say, Jack.
Yeah.
You know how my brain is. So it's like I like jumping in a really cold lake and then getting out.
I like that kind of sting.
Me too. That's my
Yeah,
favorite. I don't
yeah,
like sitting.
yeah.
I'd rather jump like if we were somewhere like Alaska or something. I want to jump in. See, when I lived in Tahoe in the big snow, I wanted to jump in the lake. I just couldn't get there because of the snow. But I wanted to do something like that when it was in the midst of the snowing, the big snowstorm.
Yeah.
Jump in there and feel that cold, and jumping back out in the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to shovel my driveway in Reno just in the bathing suit. They probably thought I was in the witness relocation program.
Psychopath.
Because I'm completely tattooed up. They probably thought it was my blue heaven. Like
Did
I
you
was
have,
like
like-
from
did you
a
have, like-
mobster. Like I was a mobster from New York because I'm shoveling, and everyone's like this. It was like 30 degrees.
Did you have like the big snow boots, like the neighbor in?
you know what I had? I had the little UGG boots and just the bathing suit.
Like, are we talking like a short or
no,
like a?
a surf short.
Okay.
And I was shoveling, and people were like looking at me in a fully tattooed. They probably thought I was in the Witzik.
It sounds like the start of some kind of like weird winter porn scene.
I think it was.
Yeah.
You could be
The
honest.
snow-
Oh
the
yeah.
snow shoveler
Do you know the
comes
movie?
round
It's
to
on
shovel
Golden
the
Blonde.
drive.
On Golden Blonde. Dude, we're getting along already, dude. I love this. This is great.
Oh boy.
But no, the cold water thing, I go every day now to the gym and I do like
Good for you.
15 minutes sauna, like 3 or 4 minutes in like 6-degree water, and then a steam, and then the same again, and then a hot tub, and then the same again. I love it. It really sets my head straight for the day.
Yeah.
I find it better than a coffee, actually.
Well, there
you
is-
crash from a coffee. You don't really crash.
How about a
from that.
cigar? You smoke a cigar in there?
Cigars.
You like cigars?
No, I don't like cigars.
all right,
No.
okay.
Never really like the smell of them. Dad used to love cigars.
He did,
but I've
yeah.
never liked the smell of cigars.
We talk about that. Dad used to smoke like 5 a day, like in bed.
Yeah,
But I
but-
thought,
yeah,
I thought once he said he smoked even more. Like at one point, he could.
It got prolific at one point. How much he was smoking
But
cigar-wise.
I think with cigars, you're supposed to like take them in and do the
Swill
thing,
it.
But he'd actually smoke them. I think.
Yeah, he would no, legitimately,
Tell me.
he would
Tell me.
he would fucking inhale a cigar.
Yeah.
Like, who does that?
Yeah. And then he's wondering why his vocal cords weren't working that
Yeah,
night.
he's like, I've got polyps on my vocal cord. It's like, no shit.
That's great. That's great.
So I used to rely on motivation. Now I rely on this.
Caveman Nitro Cold Brew. Pure focus in a can.
It's as if lightning took a meditation class.
No sugar, no fake energy, just Brazilian beans and nitrogen doing the heavy lifting.
It's so smooth it should come with a tuxedo.
It's not coffee, it's clarity.
It comes in 12 packs because you're not a 1 cup a day kind of person.
Get a case. Get your life together. Go to cavemancoffee.com and use code TRYING15 for 15% off.
Don't wait. You're already tired. Ryan, let me ask you a question. When did you start to feel a little different, like that you were slowing down a bit, that things weren't working like they used to?
I think about 37 years old, I felt like I wasn't the animal I used to be.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. You know, I just turned 40, and it kind of gave me a big kick up the butt to start looking at some options to supplement differently. And that's when I found Mars Men. So Mars Men is kind of a natural solution to boost your testosterone.
I don't even understand. So you had a hormone deficiency?
I don't necessarily know if it was a hormone deficiency or what. I just noticed that I was slowing down, and apparently, you know, you start losing testosterone around the age of 30 and about 1% every year after that.
So how how do you feel like when you have extra testosterone? Like,
Well, I feel stronger physically, my performance, my recovery time in the gym, it all has improved. And it all came from taking Marsmen.
what's in it?
All right, so Marsmen is kind of cool. It's got Tonkat Ali. It's got, I'm going to pronounce this terribly wrong, but Shilajit.
Yes, that's it.
Vitamin D, zinc, boron, and more. So what it does is it supports T levels, energy, stamina. It's got 8 natural, clinically dosed ingredients. It's made in the USA, and it's third-party tested.
I think that's, I was just about to ask that.
Yeah. So it's a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's no risk. Worst case,
Can't go wrong with that.
absolutely.
Wow.
And if you don't love it, you get your money back. But over 91% of users report higher energy levels. Thousands of guys are feeling incredible results. For a limited time, our listeners can get 60% off for life and 2 free gifts when they use the code TRYING at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com and use the code TRYING at the checkout. After your purchase, they will ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Lou, I kind of thought too, with you jumping on the podcast, be kind of a good kind of, people saw you on the Osbournes. You were in a bunch of the episodes back in the day.
Yeah,
And
season 1.
season 1.
Yep.
And, I kind of thought like, well, what's Louis been up to the last 20 years?
Well, I am, I always was a dance music DJ. I started DJing in 1992. And I remember you and I having this conversation on a tour bus years ago. And I remember the tour bus ride, actually. We were coming back from the Gorge in Washington State, coming back down to LA, and we were talking about dance music, and you were still a kid, and you were like, so like people like will go and pay to watch people play other people's records, and Dad would be like, do you speak between the records? And I'm like, no, Dad, you don't speak, you mix the records kind of thing. And then, of course, this was years before the whole EDM thing blew up in America. But I was a dance music DJ for 20 years. I retired in 2015, so 23 years.
What category of dance music?
Deep house, techno, underground house music, not massively commercial EDM. I played quite heavy techno at some point, but I worked an awful lot around the States in that time, and then I retired from being a DJ, and now I'm an artist manager. I manage DJs, so I liken it to being like, football player becomes a football coach kind of thing. I've gone from being the player to the manager kind of thing, So
Do you ever get like FOMO with your artists, like as they're DJing? Do you miss like,
No.
I wish I was up there?
never.
Yeah.
Never at all. I mean, I am doing a gig in a few weeks' time, actually, in England. Just a friend of mine asked me to do it. He asked me to do it last year, and I was very reluctant. And I was like, oh, should I, shouldn't I? If I'm completely honest, towards the end of my DJing career, it used to give me anxiety. I never used to when I was younger. I thought I could.
Really? Why?
I'm just worrying about whether people like what I'm doing or not.
Oh, okay.
Whereas before, when you got that kind of like young stag kind of attitude, you just like, I don't give a fuck what they think. They're going to fucking love it. I'm going to make sure they do. But I don't know. I don't know that. But then I did the show, this small little show last year, and I actually really enjoyed it. I'm doing another one this year, and then I posted about it online recently. I don't post much about any of that kind of stuff anymore, but I just put the artwork up for the show that I'm doing, and I got quite a lot of engagement with it. And then the promoter that I know from Berlin messaged me and just said, hey, do you want to come and do a show in Berlin in December? And I thought about it, and I got kind of excited about it. And I was playing some records on a Saturday night, I had a few beers, and I thought, it'd be fun. And then came Monday and thought, I can't be arsed going to Berlin for the weekend to play records. Fuck that. I did that for years. So I'm staying at home that weekend.
Like what type
Early
of music?
night.
Like what I grew up, obviously in the 90s going to clubs in New York and everything else. So
if you're a New York clubber, I mean, I would have loved Armand Van Helden, Danny Tenaglia, DJ Sneak. I love Masters at Work, Todd Terry, all the original New York crowd, Basement Boys. I manage Kerry Chandler now. Do you know Kerry Chandler?
Yep,
So I work with Kerry Chandler. He's an old New York house legend. Deep Dish, again, they're from DC. They're people that I now manage.
Give me some artists. What type of music would you play when you were a DJ?
These people.
Yeah.
So DJ Sneak, he lives in LA now. One of my favorite DJs is a guy called Derek Carter. a Chicago house DJ. Most of the artists that I love the most are from the kind of underground house scene. I mean, he's deceased now, but Frankie Knuckles, one of the originals.
Come on.
Yeah.
I used to see Knuckles all the time in
Yeah,
New York.
yeah.
At
Really?
the tunnel. Come on.
Yeah.
Limelight Tunnel.
Yeah.
Knuckles was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was one of the originators. In fact, it was because of Frankie Knuckles that house music became house
He
music.
was so good at mixing.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so good at mixing all these different artists together.
Yeah.
Here's a question. What is the characteristics between, say, techno and house, and like what is there is there?
Oh, there are so many different subgenres now. See, I mean, without sounding like an old bastard, because I am, back in the 90s, in the early 90s, there was like Detroit techno, there was house, it was US house, it was kind of
But what is the difference between techno and house?
tempo, style, sounds used.
Okay.
Techno is generally a lot faster. There's quite a new, well, it's not that new actually now, it's been going a few years, but there's this really kind of very, very hard techno scene that's out at the moment. Big DJ from LA actually called Sarah Landry, she's killing it. There's this German guy called Klangkünstler who's brilliant. I actually love his shows. There is so much energy in his
Stop,
sets.
Jack.
He like literally.
That is the most German name ever.
Klangkünstler.
Yeah.
Rammstein.
Welcome to
Rammstein.
Klangkünstler. I will rock your brain.
Don't bother my friend. He's dead tired.
Yeah. And there's people like Amelie Lenz and Charlotte De Witte.
A lot of women.
They're very, very. They play really hard techno. And I was at the opening party of a club at Amnesia in Ibiza 2 years ago, and I've been in the.
That's serious, that place.
Yeah, I
Louis
never
like
worked there
he
all
was
the
a
time.
staple in Ibiza for a long time.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Is that the
I'm-
phone party?
Not the phone.
I'm
parties.
joking with you. I know it's different. I know it's
But,
different.
so I was in this other room with Luciano playing. He's a Chilean, half Swiss, half Chilean DJ, but he plays really cool, tribally underground house music. And I thought I'd pop my head in the techno room, but just before I left, I don't stay out all night anymore like I used to when I was younger. I tend to make an early exit, do my French goodbye and leave. But I thought I'd just stand at the back of this Amelie Lenz room that was going off in there, and there was about 3,000 people in the room. And I just remember standing at the back of it, not getting involved, but just watching the energy in the room and the kids on the dance platforms and the energy in the space. And I was like, I'm too old to be getting involved in that shit like I used to, but just the energy in the room was absolutely insane. I was just like, do you know what? Fucking love it. I didn't want to get involved, but I just quite happy to just be an observer for 15 minutes and leave.
Well, it was funny. We went to similarly, just because different. I grew up loving heavy metal and all that, but we went to a Pantera concert the other day, and the whole like standing area was just
That's
a
what I was
massive
watching the
pit.
whole time.
And
I loved
same
it.
thing. I loved seeing these young kids in a mosh pit.
Yeah, go for it.
But I was just like,
I tried to get down, but they wouldn't let me because I wanted to like really like I didn't want to get involved in it. But like these
wanted to
guys,
feel it.
these guys. I mean, the bigger dudes. I mean, they're like, you know what I'm trying to say. They're like from the desert. It could be the Aryan brother, but I don't know. I'm just saying. But like, they are in it for 2 hours. They're not getting touched. It's the craziest thing. The cardio on these guys with the pants and the dickies and sweating. You were amazed.
Yeah.
Could you believe
They
that
didn't
big
stop.
guy?
I love seeing that because the last few like hard rock concerts I've gone to, like people don't really mosh. You don't see it as much anymore.
No, but you go to a lot of concerts these days, and everything's become so health and safety. Of course, there has been fatalities at shows over the years.
Yeah, it's very. I agree
But
with
especially when you get to the bigger shows, they're so health and safety that they've got that barricade down the middle into the stage towards the front of house sound desk, a couple over the side, so it keeps it all segregated, so you don't get crowd surges.
Well,
and stuff.
so you don't get what happened at frickin' what's his name at Juice what was it?
Travis Scott.
Travis Scott.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
terrible. So
Yeah,
terrible.
But that Elijah, my son, was at Reading Festival this year, and this hot young dance act called Sammy Virgie came on, and he said there was a massive crowd surge when he first came on in the arena, and everybody lifted off their feet, people falling to the ground, getting trampled on. Thankfully, they actually just stopped the music and cleared the space out a bit and made sure everyone was safe, and they continued with it. But there is a duty of care to people.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're saying that, you're in a mosh pit, you got a 6'8" guy coming up, just basically thumping you in the face. There's not a lot of duty of care there, is there?
As I've got older, I have begun to appreciate dance music a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like I think what I kind of appreciate about it is it's not as formal as like a concert, because when you go to a concert, you have to you're giving your attention to these people performing on stage. They're playing live music. Like, I feel like it's a more looser environment to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, you say that, but actually, dance music culture has changed. I mean, to some degree, DJs were relatively faceless in the 90s and early 2000s, but with the onset of social media now, it's very much more about DJs have to give a lot more performance. People used to say to me when I was DJing, like, why don't you smile? Like, and because actually I wasn't smiling, because I was working the mix. I was having 2 or 3 records playing at the time, keeping them all going and mixing them, and I was concentrating. I wasn't there doing a couple of EQ twists and fist pumping for the crowd, like, you know,
throwing a cake.
Yeah, well, exactly. But some DJs, I mean, the extent to what some DJs do that is quite insane, actually. And it's I personally, being an old cynical fuck, find that a little bit cringeworthy. But I prefer a DJ that goes and works the records, that works the crowd, not works the crowd by doing whatever showmanship they're doing. But the bottom line is, it's the entertainment business, and people want to be entertained, and whatever works at the end of the day. So
I mean, it's about these influencers. I'm sure you know, like the Peggy Goo or some of these other people, they're DJs. You know, when I used to see Frankie Knuckles, like, it wasn't about him, it was about the way he mixed.
Yeah.
And now you have these people, their Instagram, like, she's got the tattoo, she's got the Hermes bag, like, she's like more of an influence, and then she's a DJ, and people want to hang out with her. And I don't think, again, I'm into the quality, not the quantity. And it just seems like, again, when I used to go to Limelight or Tunnel, and you know all these places, you saw, and they mix stuff, you wouldn't believe how good they were. So talented.
Yeah,
they were talented.
Yeah, it was the vibe. I mean, and then also, I mean, there's a video, you can see it on YouTube, an old club in Liverpool called Quadrant Park. And there's this video of a room absolutely erupting, and I think it's from about 1990. Of course, there's not a phone in the place. And also, the funny thing about Quadrant Park is that the DJ booth was in a corner facing a wall. It didn't even face the dance floor.
Weird.
Or then in the Hacienda, which was the massively famous club in Manchester in the UK, the DJ booth was up in the balcony, but was in its own booth with a room, and had like an angled glass, one-way looking glass down onto the dance floor, so you couldn't even see the DJ. They could see you from their room, but you couldn't even see into the booth. It was like a sealed booth,
Interesting.
But now it's like everything's front and center, or you get the clubs in the round with the DJs in the middle, and so there is a lot more showmanship and people looking towards the DJ. But I liked it when it was, dark rooms. Not really, you weren't looking at the person performing. You were getting lost in music. It was
dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
What do you get when you have a bald eagle standing on top of a silverback gorilla that is riding on the top of a T-Rex? Confidence. Pure confidence.
The kind of confidence you really need in the bedroom for that next level Velociraptor driving a Lamborghini through outer space type experience. That's where Rugiet Go Long comes in. This isn't just another ED pill, it's a confidence game changer.
Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one, a dual-action formula to help you get hard and go the distance.
Plus, effects last for up to 36 hours, which means you can feel confident all day and all night, and then some the next day too.
Getting started is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online at rugiet.com. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly to your door.
Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to rugiet.com and use my promo code TRYING, 15% off your first order.
That's rugiet.com, code TRYING.
Make sure you use our code so they know we sent you.
Can we get a little bit of the relationship with,
Sure.
your father and stuff? I want to hear some good stories or things like that, and how you guys grew up and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, where do we start? I mean, obviously, I'm 10 years older than Jack.
Yes, I know that.
So,
So he knew Dad in a time that I didn't know my dad.
yeah. I mean, I knew Dad in a time when Dad probably didn't even know who Dad was. But no, I remember as a kid, like earliest memories of Dad. He was always put it this way, he was always away on tour a lot from when I was a kid.
Okay.
I was born in 1975, so I was born smack in the middle of the Sabbath years. My mum and dad separated in around 80, 81. And then I think Sharon and Dad married in 82, I think.
82, 83,
yeah. I remember being on the diary. I'm on the front of Diary of a Madman. I'm the kid in the corner.
That's amazing.
So I remember being at that shoot that day with
you-
my mum.
You'd have been like 6.
Sorry?
Were you like 6 or 5?
5 or 6, yeah. So I remember being at the shoot that day at a place in London, and I remember going down with Dad and my mum and your mum being there as well.
Oh, that's amazing.
I remember I was having this conversation with Melinda and Michael as well, actually, and we confirmed the dates. I remember seeing Bon Scott play with AC/DC at a place called Bingley Hall in Stafford.
Oh, wow.
And Bingley Hall in Stafford was actually like it was a hall and a concert hall, but it was kind of like corrugated iron kind of.
You saw them back then?
building. Yeah, it was one of those old school. But even because we worked out it was the 8th of November 1979 that AC/DC with Bon Scott played. So I was 4. And I remember going and sitting on the balcony of Bingley Hall watching AC/DC with Bon Scott with my dad.
That's
Goodness
cool.
gracious.
Yeah,
that's
so
really
I
cool.
remember
That
that.
is really, really cool.
Do you remember
Yeah.
going to Sabbath concerts back then?
I don't remember
must have been
going to
too young,
Sabbath
no?
concerts. I mean, they were split up by 78. But what I do remember is the house that we lived in, Bulrush Cottage. Dad built a studio at the back of it, and it had a rehearsal space and its own bathroom, a sound room behind the double glazed glass, and then a big rehearsal space. Wasn't that well soundproof, but I do remember Sabbath rehearsing in that space and watching and listening to them there. And the neighbours complaining. Yeah. Even though in the countryside, the neighbours were only like 300 or 400 meters away, kind of thing. And I do remember that. But then, I always find this quite funny, and it's a testament to Dad that, like, when my mum and Dad separated, and then your mum and Dad got together. I mean, they bought a house in Staffordshire to start with, a place called Offley Rock, which wasn't that far from us. But then I used to spend a lot of time around that time getting picked up and driven around by 2 of my dad's PAs who are, and Jack and I always laugh about this. One of them was called Pete Mertens, who was my dad's best friend from school and became his kind of like PA come roadie and driver come partying and drinking buddy.
Okay.
They must have had some fun, those two.
Oh God, yeah, they must have.
They must have had
And
a
then
good
another
time.
guy called Bobby Thompson.
Yep.
And Jack's friends with Bobby's kids as well. They live up in the valley somewhere, don't
Yeah.
they? Yeah. And I just remember being driven around a lot by them. Like if we were going on a family holiday, Dad was already in America over here with Sharon and the kids or whatever. Pete would fly over to pick me and my siblings up to go over to America. So Pete would literally chaperone us around the world, and then I'd room me up with Pete. So
And the funny thing is, in 1997, it was one of the times that we moved back and forth from England to America a bunch.
Yeah.
And in 97, we were here for about a year, and Pete Mertens was still working for Dad, and he was my roommate. So I was roommates with this 50-year-old roadie.
He's a great guy, that Pete. I
Great
loved him.
guy.
In fact, the last
Amazing.
time I saw Pete was at the Hollywood Bowl show.
Yeah.
One of Dad's last Hollywood Bowl shows, but he died quite suddenly of a heart attack. But they were really, really, really fucking good guys, and they were Dad's old friends. I've just got a lot of fond memories of them around that time, picking us up and chaperoning us around. And then the kids came along in quite quick succession, and I was laughing with Kelly about this the other day, because I'm 10 years older, but I'm still a kid. And Dad would always say to me, "Don't be so rough with them. You'll end up hurting them." And I wasn't going out to.
I remember him saying that.
Yeah, that is
I
pretty
wouldn't.
funny.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. It wasn't my intention to hurt them. But
That's pretty funny. That's
a bit
very
like what
funny.
you were doing with Sydney. Did they roughing him up? I'd
Yeah.
just be like fucking them on the couch, and,
That's
and then
amazing.
I'd go too far, and they'd cry, and Dad'd come and fucking give me a bollocking, and I'd be upset then. But it was funny. It was just it was funny. It was quite entertaining.
How about concerts? Do you remember going to some concerts in the 80s and
Oh,
stuff?
loads. Yeah, I mean, I remember. I'll tell you a funny thing, right? In the 80s, I was at boarding school, basically at boarding school, you finished school at 4, you were allowed to do independent play until 6, then you had dinner time, and you had to come home and do homework between
Okay.
about 7, 8:30, 9, then it was bedtime. they had a show in England, you may remember it at the time, called Top of the Pops, and it was always on at 7:30 on a Thursday. And I remember with the nights that my dad was on Top of the Pops, all me and my cohort of boarding school kids at school were allowed to stay up late, not do homework, and watch it. And I remember us all staying up in our pajamas and dressing gowns watching Dad's video of Bark at the Moon being played on Top of the Pops.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That is amazing.
It's really, and my housemaster, who's like a very prim old English guy, so that's interesting.
Because during that time period, you were kind of pre-teens and at boarding school when a lot of shit was in the media about Dad just doing crazy shit. Would you hear about it at school?
Totally, yeah. It didn't really bother me, mate. I mean, like, honestly, the bat thing, I just thought it was funny. I never gave a fuck about that. Dad obviously didn't. Well, towards the end of the night, he was quite happy with it. He used to get pissed off and being asked about it all the time. But the bat thing, I was just kind of like, oh, whatever. There was that time when he and your mum had that altercation and he ended up in the clink. That was a bad one. That wasn't bad press. And, your mum came up your mum actually came up and picked us up from school and took us out and spoke to us about that. And just reassured us that everything was going to be all right and, Daddy's going to seek help and all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, all the Dad's mad stuff, I mean...
Did you get bullied at school for it?
Never.
Yeah, see, I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Why?
It was just kind of like a na thing. It wasn't like
It's because you look like that, or no?
Maybe.
Maybe that's not why you got bullied, your father.
No, it didn't affect me much at school. I mean, what affected me more, if I'm completely honest, is missing him, really. Because he was either touring or I was at boarding school or coming from a separated family. I just, you'd always want to spend more time with your old man. But no, it never affected me on that level, really. I mean, if anything, it's just a weird thing. And I've only really realised this since his passing relatively recently, is that, like, I've always known how cool my dad is, right? But just not quite how fucking cool. And it's really kind of hit me since he's gone that, like...
But I think a lot of people have that.
I'm not saying I took him for granted, but there's an element of it, I think.
You know what I'm trying to say? I think this is different because, like, he was the one that really... He's a true rock star and one of those original rock stars. Like, he's a real rock star.
You're going to get another one.
Planet Earth will never have another Ozzy Osbourne.
You know what it is, and again, when you can't, when you have that brain and you're doing it 150% and you're doing it real like your father did, like your father was having a great time.
We were discussing this last night, actually. Yeah.
Your dad lived a life. I'm going to tell you something. Your dad lived a life that most people would die to live. He enjoyed himself. He did great music. He helped a lot of bands. He helped a lot of people out. I mean, I remember, some of the interviews in the 80s and 90s, and the whole look and everything else. It was amazing to me.
Yeah.
The Randy Rhoads thing. It was just, everything was just amazing.
Well, actually, what I do remember, actually...
did you meet Randy?
I met Randy Load. Randy lived in our house for about 6 months.
Tell me about Randy.
Wow.
Before Mum and...
What type of character?
Very genteel, very,
really?
very, very lovely, kind of, I wouldn't say shy, but very...
Mellow?
Almost ethereal. Very, very mellow, very calm man. And his girlfriend at the time, when they were first recording, or not recording, but starting to write Blizzard, they stayed at our house for quite a lot. And actually...
Well, this is a great story.
Remember the first ever games consoles, the one that had like tennis on it, like beep,
Atari?
Beep.
Nintendo?
Yeah, the one with the brown kind of wooden...
Yeah, it was Atari.
Yeah,
you're right.
And it had the cartridge that went in the top of it.
Oh, my God. Yes, I remember.
Well, Randy Rhoads bought me my first ever games console.
Wow. No way, Atari.
Yeah, one of them, yeah.
My
He bought
God.
me one of them. I mean, the first concerts of Dad's I remember vividly. I remember going out with him on his very first kind of Blizzard and Diner from Madman tours, playing kind of like smallish arenas around England. Not arenas, like theatre type size venues, like the Odeon in Birmingham.
Were you at that first practice gig was it in like Newcastle or something? He did like a practice gig before they'd really...
No, I didn't. I did most of the local. I remember going to like Nottingham Rock City, the Odeon in Birmingham, those kind of size venues. So I remember seeing a lot of them. I remember the Donington Park gigs from the 80s, a couple of them. Dad didn't headline one of them, and then he headlined the second one. I've got a lovely picture of him and I stood at that one. I remember Dad had the this big. He would come out onto stage. What's the classical music he always played before the show? I can't remember the name of it.
God,
I know the music. I just can't remember the name of it.
I always forget. I always pronounce it wrong, but like Amina Barat, like whatever.
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
But that big epic music.
Just like this epic music.
But that ba 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 ba.
Yeah.
But that would always be Dad's like country music, and Dad used to have the drum kit would be raised on a laser platform, and out from the dry ice from the back of the stage would be this huge like mirror glitterboard silver fist that would open out, and he'd be in it.
Wow.
Yeah, this was in the heyday of big sets.
Yeah.
You had to have
He'd
these
come out
huge-
of this silver fist.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then it would like malfunction, and sometimes it would like
He was caught in there. Half the leg
he
was
would
caught
like
in there.
fall out of it because it would be like
They never got it right. Lucky he didn't get electrocuted.
yeah.
And then, Dad told this story many, many times, but I also remember John the dwarf guy that worked for Dad.
Was he a short guy?
He was a
He was a-
dwarf.
yeah, he was a dwarf.
He suffered from dwarfism.
Okay.
And I remember Dad was always telling. I said basically before Tony Dennis was around, John used to be Dad's stagehand, and he'd be dressed in some kind of like gothic monkey looking not monkey, but like monkish looking robe thing,
sure.
with a head thing on, his face all painted white and eye makeup on, and he'd bring the buckets of offal or water on or whatever for Dad to chuck on people. And at the end of the show, they used to do like a fake hanging of him behind the drum kit. So they'd have a set of gallows, and he'd have a body harness on, but they'd put a noose around his neck and they'd hang him on the stage.
Yeah. Like, so my dad has a really funny story that they used to have this like John,
Tell me.
this guy, they used to have this really like funny, like they would fuck with each other relationship.
Yeah.
And my dad was coming out of a hotel one time, and John was drunk, and they were whatever. My dad picked him up and he threw him into the luggage bay of this tour bus. Yeah, and this woman comes running over and went, "You can't do that to him. You can't do that to him." My dad goes, "Fuck off, he's my dwarf." And then John popped his head out of the luggage bay and went, "Yeah, fuck off, I'm his dwarf."
Actually, they didn't use the dwarf word; they used the inappropriate word.
word.
Yeah, but I mean, and then the 80s, other fond memories of Dad in the 80s were like we did our. Back in the days when you used to do tax exile, like you used to do like day counting, we did a lot of summers down in the south of France near Cannes when these guys were tiny babies. And at the time,
I love south of France.
Dad was obsessed at the time from a musical production and songwriting, but from a musical production thing. Peter Gabriel's "So," the album. God, we listened to that album.
Do you know Heller, our friend Michael Heller? Do you know he lives next to him in London?
Oh, really? I think he
you know
told
they're
me that.
very, very close. I mean, listen. I grew up on So. I was at the Bowl. I saw Peter Gabriel and Sting together. I also seen Genesis with Peter Gabriel because I've been following Phil Collins and Genesis forever. So is with Kate Bush and running up that hill.
Album, yeah.
I mean, it's just prolific.
Yeah. Dad was mad into it. For most of our lives, it was Beatles. We listened to all the time, but that was one of the albums that he was.
Wow.
He was,
And Genesis as well. He loved Phil Collins.
I mean, Genesis, for me, a lot of people put it down, but their music, like I saw them in the 90s, Invisible Touch, everything. Like, they were prolific, and especially when Peter Gabriel was there,
Well, that was the thing, too, with Dad, is that he was...
I'd love to hear more about that, because that's really interesting
everyone,
to me.
I think, assumed, like, he was all into... He didn't really listen to rock.
he didn't listen to rock at all.
No, he would appreciate it. He could understand it, but he was more intrigued with music with really amazing production.
Melody as well.
And melody.
Yeah, melody.
Yeah.
I mean, you listen to his... shortly before he passed away, I was spending time with him, and he had his little... was it a Bose or a JBL little sound pack attached to his phone?
Yeah.
And he'd just play it all the time when he was like doodling with his art or whatever, or working out. And it was like, listening to things like Tears for Fears
Yes.
Come on.
quite a lot of 80s music.
Listen, I'm so happy that Tears for Fears is one of my favorite bands. I've seen them Simple Minds too.
Yeah, I love
I've
Simple Minds.
I've seen them three. But Tears for Fears is prolific. Woman in Chains,
Right.
like Raoul's and the Kings of Spain. Like I love Tears for Fears. I mean, they're such a great band, and they don't get and I grew up in the 80s, so most of the music I listen to is all that. It's alternative music and the 80s. But I'm glad to hear Tears for Fears because it's one of my favorite bands.
He loved the music from the 80s.
He did. He really did.
Like he went through a heavy Michael Jackson phase over the last couple years, and
I love hearing this.
yeah.
And then I tell you who really, 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 really did blow him away when she
can't
first
wait to
came.
hear.
Adele.
Yeah.
He was massive.
Wow.
He was massive.
I never would even think
No, he was
that.
massively in awe of her vocal range and her voice and her singing. He was really quite blown
He didn't
away
like
by
Milli
it.
Vanilli, did he?
No.
I'm kidding with you.
No. Milli Vanilli.
Oh, come on. I just threw
But no, Adele, and Amy Winehouse as well. He was very,
Yeah.
Wow.
he rated Amy Winehouse a lot. But, I mean, of course, in the last 20 years, they're probably two of the greatest voices, especially to have come out of the UK.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he listened to all kinds of stuff.
But he probably
really.
knew all those guys from the 80s, especially a lot of them in London, right?
I think so.
Yeah, but even with all, he still leaned more towards like the melodic stuff. Like you would never, he would listen to
hear.
AC/DC. He would listen to some, really, actually, probably only AC/DC. He
Not
would
Iron Maiden.
no, hell no.
I'm just asking.
Never a Maiden fan.
Never. He would
a
listen.
Maiden
I would
fan.
hear him listen to Metallica occasionally.
I think he really, really liked listening to Black Sabbath from the Dio era. I'm joking.
Slaughter.
No Slaughter. No.
I mean, he listened to Def Leppard a bit, actually.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses, Def
You
Leppard.
are right about Def Leppard. You know, Def Leppard. How about Depeche Mode?
No.
I'm just asking. I'm just
No,
asking.
I never really heard him listen to Depeche Mode.
I'm just asking.
Silence. No, he didn't. Probably a little bit too new romantic for him.
Okay. But Tears for Fears I can see because of the production value, and he liked vocals, didn't he?
Annie Lennox. Loved Annie Lennox.
Well, she's another
I'm going to
fucking
tell you something.
Great voice as
I
well.
love that you say that because Annie Lennox is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Annie Lennox is amazing. So people don't give her enough.
Yeah.
Very good.
My dad really loved female vocalists. That was like because I think he would appreciate the kind of the melody lines from
I think he had a crush on Kate Bush for a while as well.
She
Possible.
was. I'm going to tell you something.
One thing that mum was trying to really get dad to do in the last few years was she really wanted him to do a duets album with all female vocalists.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, there's that. I've actually got it on 12-inch vinyl at home. There was the, and I was chatting to your mum about this the other night. There was the Was Not Was did a duet with Madonna and my dad.
No, Kim Basinger.
No, it was Madonna originally.
Oh, really?
So it was written for Madonna and Was Not Was, and it was when Dad was popping in the early 80s, and so was she. But then she kind of like really fucking popped, and then didn't give approval on the record.
Oh my God, that would have been amazing.
So that was canned. And then when Kim Basinger was having her big moment in her acting career in the middle of the 80s, they decided they were going to try and make her a pop star as well. And they tracked Kim Basinger on it instead.
Yeah.
So I was reading about this online recently and chatting to you about it. Somewhere out there is a duet recording of Madonna and Dad.
Interesting.
But it's never, ever seen the light of day.
That must be-
That will be with Was Not Was, basically.
Yeah.
And then there was this old Chicago house producer guy called Steve Silk Hurley that did a dance music remix of it. So there I am in 1994, like 19 years old, dance makes this record, and then I'm thinking, I fucking know that voice, and it's Ozzy Osbourne, "Shake Your Head" featuring Kim Basinger.
I actually listened to that recently because I was like, and no one really knows it because it
I can't wait
was
to listen to it when I go home. That's interesting.
commercially it was promoted as Was Not Was and Kim Basinger.
Okay.
They didn't really push that it was my dad as well.
It did.
Why
Not,
wouldn't they have
not
done
the
that?
dance version, but the original version did
Yeah.
go top 10 in the UK. I
It
believe.
did, yeah. But they never really credited. They didn't credit Dad for being the other vocalist on it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it was just the record label was just like, oh, let's just market it as Was Not Was and Kim Basinger, and but
That guy bites the heads off doves. It's not a good look.
not a good look.
Oh, they didn't like that.
You ever have one of those mornings where everything's a blur? You're running late, you've got a meeting at 10, and somehow, no breakfast. Yeah, that used to be me every day. My energy would crash halfway through the morning, and I'd reach out for anything quick, which usually meant not so great choices. But big news, Huel just launched into Target stores nationwide this month. They've dropped their Black Edition ready to drink and their Daily Greens ready to drink. And honestly, both have become a total game changer in my routine. You can grab them right off the shelf at your local Target. Let's talk about the Black Edition ready to drink first. My go-to before workouts or back-to-back calls. It's a complete meal that actually keeps me full and focused. Each bottle packs 35 grams of protein, 27 essential vitamins and minerals. It's gluten-free, has no artificial sweeteners, and it's ready to go for under $5. Then there's the Daily Greens ready to drink, my secret weapon for those sluggish afternoons. Developed by registered nutritionists and dietitians, it's got 42 vitamins and minerals, superfoods, but only 25 calories, 4 grams of fiber, and 1 gram of sugar. I had the blueberry flavor today. It's the most refreshing pick-me-up right around that 3 p.m. slump. If you're trying to stay on top of your goals, fitness, travel, or just keeping up with life, Huel makes healthy eating simple. And again, they're now available nationwide at Target. Try both products today with a 15% off purchase for new customers using my exclusive code TRYING at www.huel.com/trying. That's www.huel.com/trying. And please don't forget to fill out the post-checkout survey to help support the show.
Probably Kim Bessinger's team might not have done.
No,
And like eek.
back then they didn't like that. They, listen, I didn't mind.
Yeah.
It's just,
But
listen.
another thing I wanted to talk about, actually, mentioning Dad, and now, but apparently he did write this in his first book. I can't remember reading that passage, but there's this story about him slaughtering 17 cats, right? We never owned fucking 17 cats.
That's the funny
That
thing.
sounds like a lot of cats.
You know
to
what's
slaughter.
so
Who
funny?
the fuck could have 17 cats?
I don't know.
There's this hilarious, like, I remember seeing something and someone posted a comment being like, he killed cats, fuck him, like after Dad died.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know he said that, but there's no actual evidence that it happened.
He did go and shoot a pen of chickens and set fire to it in a mad drunken rage one night. Look, I'm not saying I'm not proving of anything. That is what happened. There is a chicken story about a coop, but he never ever slaughtered any cats.
Yeah,
I'm putting the record straight here.
Yeah, I can confirm that.
17 cats too.
Because I think that would have been at the time when my mum and dad were together, and I know we never owned 17 cats.
Why'd they pick that number? That's a lot of cats.
I don't know why he said. I think it was a thing where he said this story while he was fucked up, and he just kind of ran with it.
Yeah, I don't know, but he definitely wasn't a cat killer.
No, not at all.
It generally had to have wings.
But it's funny. Like he wasn't a big fan that I'd go hunting. Like Dad was so in the last kind of 20 years.
He wasn't into it.
Oh, he was just like, no, not about it. He's like, leave him alone. He'd always be like, oh, leave him alone, leave him alone.
Well, there was this other. Again, it's not that funny, but it is. That when Dad lived in Offley Rock in that house, and they had a pond, and he had like koi carp in the pond. It was your mum and Dad's first house together. And Dad was getting pissed off because something kept on eating the koi carp that aren't cheap to replace, So they had at the time Pete Mertens that we were telling you about a minute. Dad's mate was living with them, and Pete calls up Dad one day, and Dad is shouting her out, and he says, Oz, I found out what's been eating the carp, and he's like, okay, what is it? And he says, well, I caught a heron. You know what herons are?
Yeah, of course.
I caught a heron. I caught a heron eating the carp. He's like, all right, so what did you do? He says, well, I got your shotgun and I shot it. And they're a protected species. And he was
Massively protected.
Okay, he said, well, did you kill it? He says, well, no, I only took one of its legs off. And it flew away. And it's like, oh, okay, for fuck's sake, well, you need to go. Well, it gets worse. He says, why? He says, well, the RSPB have just turned up, which is the Royal Protection of Birds.
How do they even know? I didn't even know someone ratted.
Pete got prosecuted for trying to kill herons. Yes.
Oh my God, that's amazing. It's like trying to kill a bald eagle.
Really?
Yeah.
Not quite as rare, but not far
But
off.
who the hell ratted on him?
I think
Probably whoever the heron landed with the limp.
How would they even know?
I don't know.
Oh,
But yeah, so Pete got the rifle out with the shotgun out, tried to kill the heron, and ended up getting done by the RSPB.
Yeah. Wow. Wild times. How have you since Dad's passed? Is there what's been the standout thing for you that you were like, I was not expecting that?
The volume of people at the cortege. Is it cortege or cortege? I never get that right.
I just call it procession.
Procession, yeah. I honestly thought, I mean, the show was hugely emotional. We were having a good old cry together at one point.
Yeah.
Because it's my hometown where the cortege was. I live in Birmingham still. And I know the street that it was going to be on. And as we turned onto the street, or just slightly before we turned onto the street, I just thought it was going to be like 2 or 3 people deep for like half a kilometre before where the Black Sabbath bridge was, and it would be a throng. As we came towards the street and turned onto the street, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now. Like, it was fucking insane. Like, people climbing up lampposts, hanging out of windows, standing on top of bus stops to get a look of it.
Crazy.
It was awe-inspiring.
Yeah, it really was.
It was awe-inspiring. And then once we'd all got out the cars and, shown our respects and put some flowers down and moved on again, it kept on going for another half a mile. And then people were following us all around town. And it was I knew people loved him, but I didn't have a sense of how many and how much, really, is what I would say. It's been quite humbling in many, many ways. But yeah, that's probably the most standout thing. And then also, I mean, I've always known his music. I mean, honestly, personally, I'm more of a Sabbath fan than I am of his solo work. It's not to say I don't love his solo work as well, but I always say, like, Sabbath's like in my bones. It's in my genes. That's from when I was born, kind of thing. But I just never, I've come to terms with or got my head around the fact of just how much of a cultural impact he had and how culturally important he was.
Yeah, amazing.
And I didn't really gather that. Again, it's not taking it for granted. It's just,
when you're in it, you don't see it.
No.
Like, when you're in the eye of the storm, you can't, because it's just Dad.
yeah. And then being sat in the dressing room, and you were in there at the time as well after the show in Birmingham, and he'd never met Axl Rose before. And that was weird. I just assumed that
Really?
Dad
You
had
never met?
Dad had never met Axl before, and it was like they were just. I think it was in the 80s that they were probably. I think people probably kept them at a distance because they were both so fucking
nuts,
mad in their own ways. It could have just gone horribly wrong.
Yes, that's a very accurate statement, I think.
But they never met each other. Obviously, Slash and Dad are very good friends. But then, he knows James Hetfield very well. But James is coming in and sitting on one knee and just, literally thanking him for everything and just saying, thank you for everything, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here doing what we've done. This is all because of you. Thank you. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that as well. To think that those kind of people are coming in and saying that to him, it's just like, okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about, Ozfest and how many bands and people
he broke through that.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the list, 20 years ago, and you see some of these people on there, it's kind of crazy. Like they owe that to your father. I mean, he really helped people a lot.
And they actually owe quite a lot of it to Perry Farrell as well for not booking him for Lollapalooza.
True, very true. Yeah,
Perry Farrell. That's all another.
Yeah, but no, I agree. It's but yeah, going back to like what's hit me the most since he's gone is really his cultural impacts and
legacy
and how universally loved he was. And I mean, one of my friends said to me, it was actually my barber, he said to me, do you know what, Lewis? He said, I don't think I've seen this level of public outpouring in the UK probably since Princess Di. And I was like, really? The Queen? The Queen died not that long ago. But you said, honestly, it's like it's really, really fucking hit people. I was just like, it was very bizarre. It's such a weird time looking back. It's only 3.5 months ago. It feels like a lifetime.
It does. It absolutely does. Yeah.
So, but I think I'm not saying he was ready to go, but I definitely think he knew his time was coming from the conversations we had, and to some degree, I think he was kind of at peace with that because he'd been in so much pain for so long.
Yeah, he was fucking tired. He was so tired.
He was. He did a song called that as well.
He did. Yeah. That's
It's actually very good.
and it's actually the YouTube video that I posted after he died.
Yeah.
That's what I used in it.
That's and I don't know if you knew this. The string section in "I Am So Tired" is actually the ELO string section.
ELO, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So
Another great band.
I've got more information about this than I actually give myself credit for.
I know. I'm like, you're pulling out some gems, and I'm like, I didn't know that.
Well, it's great because now it's like we're getting that history, and again, it's prolific, and grew up, watching, your father and following. I mean, because again, growing up in the '80s and '90s, I was a big concert guy, big, massive music person, and I think we appreciate people who are real artists.
Yeah.
We don't have that anymore, and some of the bands that you named, and your father, like these are real artists. They're very talented people.
Yeah.
And we don't really have that much anymore.
Well, there was nothing to hide behind back then, was there? You can hide behind the most amazing production techniques now, or auto-tune, or, there were double laying vocals or whatever. But, you couldn't hide behind technology then. And if you got up to stand up to perform, you couldn't hide with any other backup. You had to go and deliver.
There was no AI to help you.
No, there was nothing to help you. You either rocked it or you went home feeling embarrassed.
You did, and a lot of people did back then. Because you had to be, ready to perform, and a lot of people couldn't do that and not had all that in the background.
I actually you gave me a copy. I haven't read Last Rites yet, but you gave me a copy. Jack gave me a copy last night when I was over at his, and I just flicked through a couple of pages of it, and I didn't read any of it really. I just flicked through this one page, and it was just said that although he was a big drinker, that he never went on stage properly fucking loaded. He might have had a couple of drinks. He might have got loaded afterwards, but he wouldn't go and perform loaded.
Wow.
Yeah, he wouldn't. He refused to. He said it was. He said it for he. It was very odd because he would be like, it felt like such a disservice, such disrespect to his fans.
I mean, look, curtain's gone down, game on. But before that, might have had a couple of beers or something. I'll tell you another thing that not a lot of people may know about Dad, and I mean, I don't know whether you've expressed it on the podcast or so before. Is that after however many years of him performing, he was always fucking nervous before a show.
Always.
Really?
So much so that he would have IBS, like nervous before a show.
Yeah.
He was
nervous shits terribly.
He was terrible. He was really, really nervous. And then
that is absolutely wow.
Yeah. Even 55, 60 years into it, he was terrified before a show. I remember being one day when you were in the Coldwater Canyon. Was it Coldwater Canyon house you were in for a while?
Yeah.
And I remember lying in bed one day listening to a row between your mum and dad next door, and he was basically got up that morning, and I think it was the San Bernardino show or something like that, and he was like, I'm not fucking doing the show. And she's, Ozzy, you're doing the fucking show. We can't pull the fucking show. I'm not doing it. And they were having this big row because he basically was just nervous, because the ones he used to get the most nervous about were like the big ones, like LA, New York, London, hometown show in Birmingham, and he used to get really, really terrified before them.
Massively.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he would get like, and he would. Wait, were you with us on Ozfest when the riot happened because he didn't want to show? He didn't show up.
Where was that?
It was Ozfest. I can't remember.
He got banned from going back there.
Yeah, he did. He wouldn't get off the plane. His voice wasn't great, and he didn't want to go do a shit show, and he flat refused to get off the plane. We're on the private plane on the runway. His voice had been wonky. He wasn't feeling great. He just was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the show. And he proceeded to just have a complete conniption on the plane, go mental. He's like punching the wall on the plane. I'm not getting off the fucking plane, like cancel the gig. And every hour that goes by and he's not there. And then we were like, all right, go to all the bands and see if they'll do like an Ozzy cover and like get them on the stage. And it was when Robert Trujillo was still playing for my dad. And Robert's like, okay, I'll go. He was on the plane and he went and tried to like get some guys to perform, and a riot kicked out and they destroyed the venue. and it was the venue was like the Toyota Center or whatever, and they burned the cars that were on display there. They ripped up all the chairs.
He got the bill. Yeah.
Oh my God! It was like
that's a mess.
It was a full-on riot.
The same thing happened at Nottingham Rock City years ago in the 80s as well. Actually, I think he didn't turn up because he had tonsillitis or something, and they tore the place up, and he wasn't allowed into Nottingham for a few years. But I mean, he used to get nervous a lot before the shows. But the other thing that I always remember when I toured Ozfest with him for a couple of summers back in the early 2000s, and he had his flight case with his entertainment centre that was wheeled into his dressing room and everything, and he also had another flight case with a darts board. And what his just to keep his mind off it and start him getting nervous is we would always play darts, and he would always the film Monty Python, Life of Brian. We watched it every single fucking day before a show. We'd watch Life of Brian because it just took his mind off things. I must have seen that film 200 times or more.
Really, darts and that.
Darts and Monty Python, Life of Brian. And then we'd all be kicked out, and he'd do his
vocal warm-up.
Vocal warm-ups, yeah. And then everyone was cleared out because he'd have like 10 minutes of IBS, and they'd go on stage.
I mean, Ozfest. Think about it. Everyone came to see him, even though they were great bands. Sure. I mean, they were amazing bands, but they came to see him.
Yeah. Well, and even with Back to the Beginning, same thing. Yeah. It was, Of
course.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, he was texting me the day of. I went to see him. I went to the day they did that amazing photo shoot and the sound check on the Thursday. And I was just like a bit worried because he was sat up there, and the stadium was obviously empty. It was a relatively cool evening. The kind of sun had gone down behind the stadium, so there was no sun on the stage, and it was a bit drafty and cold. And he was sitting there wrapped up in his Aston Villa tracksuit top, and wasn't really given his socks. His voice sounded croaky, and I was genuinely like nervous that he was going to be good for this kind of thing. I was just, obviously, I just wanted to his last show just to go off with a bang and be a really good, dignified experience for him. Sure. And I was a bit worried about it. And I mentioned it to one of the road crew about it, and it might have been Big Dave or someone. They were like, don't worry about your dad's voice. I've heard his voice from us. It's been fine. He's saving his voice now. Why would he want to go and strain his vocal cords 2 days before the show? So he don't worry about it tonight. It's fine. And then the morning of the show, about midday, he was texting me saying, are you at the stadium yet? I'm like, not yet, Dad. He said, what's the weather like? I'm like, well, it looks like it's going to be warmer than it was the other day. He says, good, because I was cold up there, and I'm worried about being cold on stage. I said, just, Dad, wear a few more layers, and I'm sure the adrenaline will get you through it.
Yep.
Amazing.
Up to the point when he first came up on stage, and even when he came up on stage and the crowd were cheering him and everything, and it was fucking epic and amazing, but as soon as those first couple of notes came out of his voice, and I knew he had it at that point.
Yeah.
And my shoulders dropped, and it was just like, he's gonna fucking do it. It's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. And then even when he did Mama, I'm Coming Home, like I think from the emotion it made him croak a little bit on it. But actually, there were 45,000 people singing it with gusto with him because he got carried through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
amazing.
there wasn't a dry eye in the place, was there? Really?
No, we were blubbering like two little babies. Yeah.
And it was. I just wish. My only wish about the show was, again, it was a risk a calculated risk they had to take, and Dad wishes they'd done more. But they rehearsed 6 Sabbath tunes, but only did 4 in the end, and they decided to stick to the 4 just in case they committed to 6, but he actually wasn't good enough for it.
Okay.
And I can't remember what the other 2 were. What were they?
They were going to do
War Pigs.
They were going to do War Pigs. No. They were going to do Black Sabbath.
Oh, sorry, they were going
to open with Black Sabbath.
They opened with the chimes of Black Sabbath, but went into War Pigs, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they were going to do War Pigs. I think it might have been Sweet Leaf, but I can't remember. They rehearsed 6, but only did 4 in the end for fear of it being a bit too much. But yeah. I mean, for fuck's sake, we'd all want it to go on and on and on, wouldn't we?
Sure, absolutely.
It was an amazing show.
Birmingham hasn't ever really, until recently, not taken advantage is the wrong word.
Embraced
and utilised what they've had at the disposal with the legacy of Black Sabbath and my dad.
Yeah.
There's a lovely girl called Lisa Mayer that did a thing called Home of Metal some years ago.
Okay.
And she did some exhibitions, and, she was working in conjunction with your mum and getting various bits of artifacts and stuff. And she tried. But again, that was almost like a private enterprise, and she was getting Arts Council funding for it. but it's only relatively recently that the city of Birmingham have got behind it, and especially when they saw the
Interesting.
cultural impact of the show.
Yeah.
And it's just, and they are doing more things about it now, and it is becoming more of a thing. But just the whole week leading up to the show was, Jack came and met me the day before, and we walked around. The place was just an ocean of black and purple.
It was so cool. It was like the entire city was like out to support.
I mean, the amount of people that were watching it online was just
insane.
I mean, it was insane. It was an insane concert.
Do you know how many people try to buy tickets?
How many?
3 million people tried to buy tickets to the gig.
Really?
Yeah.
For 45,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
It's a shame he didn't have a tour in him.
A tour? Oh my God! Imagine.
Well, that was the running joke afterwards.
Yeah.
You know,
Won't be so-
everyone was like, "Hey, come on!"
The tour would have been. Imagine some of those major venues.
We've had a few finale tours, haven't we? So.
Oh yeah, it would have just been another.
But it was I just like a lot of these things. It just all went in a flash. Now I wish you try and take it all in and kind of like really suck it in, but it's like blink of an eye, really. So, you know, it's also I there were so many people in the arena that I wanted to see, and friends of mine that were there and stuff. And I was trying to run around and see different people in different places and sort a few passes out for people if I could or whatever. But in the end, I just turned my phone off and was like, I can spend all fucking day trying to make other people happy. I'm just going to stand still and watch the show myself.
That's your time.
Yeah, totally.
That's your time.
Totally. But yeah, it was good.
It was
good.
such a great final show, and I've said this 100 times already. He was happy with it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it was funny though. He definitely was, but I saw him after the show, and he was just in one of those kind of. He wasn't like that after the show. I was like, "Did you have a good time? Did you have a good time?" I was like that, and did you have a good time? He was like, "Yeah."
But that was always him. He could have had the greatest show in his life and been given $1 billion, and you'd be like, "Yeah," and he would be like,
"Yeah."
It was all right.
Well, I saw him the next day. Went over to the hotel they were staying at, just to quickly say hello and pick up some bags that I'd left behind. And again, I saw him, and he was sitting there doodling at his dining room table in his hotel suite. And I was like, again, just super excited and like, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah. But as all the reviews came in over the next week or two, I think it really hit home for him, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It really, really did.
Yeah. So, but yeah, what a fucking send off. I mean, it was kind of like the whole thing's been kind of poetic, really, in the way he made his exit. We all wanted more time, of course, anybody would, but I just think the way he managed to get through that show. I honestly, I had a gut feeling that after that impetus and that's something that he had to work towards was gone, he might decline quicker or his health may fail quicker. I certainly didn't think it would be in the time frame that we're talking about, but I do think that once that kind of that motivator and that thing to drive towards was gone, it might have just, you know, he might have just aged quicker, or the Parkinson's might have got him quicker, or something like that. You know, and as we know, it wasn't that took him in the end. But I did have a concern. It's like people that say, you know, people that work all their life and then they retire and they're dead within 6 months because they've got nothing to do anymore, kind of thing. You know, you hear those stories, don't
Their
you?
health and their brain and their mind. Yep.
I mean, going back to what you're saying, trying not to die, it's like, don't give up work.
Yeah, it's true. Thank you so much for doing
Louis,
this.
it was great seeing you. I'm glad I got to finally meet you.
Absolutely.
I've known this character 22 years.
Right.
So, love you, Louis. Thank you.
Man. It's been a pleasure to be on and talk about it.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Cheers.